Brandon Judge versus Jack Lazarus. All hell has broken loose in the ring. Oh God, he broke him! Suplex from the top of the cage. Are you kidding me? It's over! It's over! We have a new champion of the world!
Today's episode of Wrestling News Today is brought to you by Wrestling GM. Available on Android and iOS on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Get ready to embark on a GM experience you've never had before. Hey, how's it going, folks? Well, we have another edition of Wrestling News Today. It is Tuesday, January 12th in the evening, coming off of a Raw from yesterday. Yesterday's episode was prior to Raw, and we did speak on the COVID outbreak from WWE. Obviously, that changed a lot of things backstage with WWE. They ended up having Triple H having, I guess you would call it a match. They titled it a fight against Randy Orton. It headlined Raw. At the end of the fight, we did see some some clever editing with Alexa Bliss in the ring throwing a fireball at Randy Orton. They pieced things together from pre-tapes as during the fight between Triple H and Randy Orton got a big gash on his cheek, and on the final segment you can see that gash just disappeared. Clearly they taped that beforehand. But when it comes to WWE and the outbreak that is going on, it's not just WWE, it's among several promotions including AEW and Impact Wrestling. Well, Drew McIntyre tested positive on Sunday during WWE's pre-screening measures prior to entering the WWE Thunderdome for television on Monday. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer does state that there is at least 4 people who have tested positive for the virus, and they're going to keep other people off television as well due to contact tracing. This includes a SmackDown superstar who was scheduled for this week's show, and a big name who recently returned, and an NXT talent. Names were not included, and we won't report the names unless that's something that either the WWE or the person who is infected does actually make public. As far as why there was certain stars who weren't on television last night, we do know Kofi Kingston wasn't there. He is dealing with a legitimate jaw issue. He did have an Instagram live interview prior to Raw. He does state that he is having issues with his jaw, on one side of his jaw. So that is why he is off television. He didn't accompany Xavier Woods to the ring during Raw. PW Insider does state the following talents were not part of the broadcast but were backstage and simply weren't utilized. That is Cedric Alexander, Asuka, Shelton Benjamin, Nikki Cross, Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet, and Angel Garza. Angel Garza did appear on Raw Talk, but didn't appear on the actual show for whatever reason. WWE has filed a number of trademarks over the last week. Most were entered into the trademark database on Monday and Tuesday today. 3 of them do look like they are affiliated with some of the WWE India stuff. The names are Giant Zanjeer, Guru Raj, and Dilsher Shanky. Those 3 names, they have filed trademarks with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And then 3 other names, NXT names. The first being Ben Carter. We all know that standout star who made his impression during last year on AEW television. Signed with WWE in October. WWE announced his signing in December. They have locked down his trademark. Tino Sabatelli, he was released last April, and then he had like a very, very small stint with AEW on Dark under the name Sabi, and he returned to WWE in the fall, re-signed a new deal, is under the NXT brand. And last is Tony Gill. For fans who may remember, Tony Gill was actually in Impact Wrestling as part of the Desi Hit Squad with Rohit Raju and Shira. he was under the name Gursinger Singh. So now he is Tony Gill in WWE NXT UK. He has signed a deal with WWE. So that's the latest news when it comes to WWE Trademarks. WWE is making a major change to the virtual audience with NXT. As WWE has been presenting shows at the Capitol Wrestling Center, you have noticed fans on the screen, but those fans aren't actually watching the show live. That is pre-recorded footage from either Raw, SmackDown, or even WWE pay-per-views. Well, for the first time ever, WWE is allowing virtual fans into the Capitol Wrestling Center, and they will have a sign-up for the Thunderdome inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. They are not using the same system as Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views. They're using a service called oneiota.com, which also hosts virtual audiences for The Voice USA and The View, among other shows. People who did attend WWE Thunderdome events in the past have gotten emails of how to sign up for NXT. So that'll be interesting to see how the process of actually getting into the Thunderdome with this new system will differ from the actual Thunderdome process when you are watching, say, Raw, SmackDown, or WWE pay-per-view. And last bit of news for the day before we do get going is the AEW console game. Kenny Omega did speak with IGN, and he did state that the game will have some unusual modes, but will not feature GM mode, which is something a lot of fans were looking forward to the AEW game possibly having. Omega says that they're going to just have a general manager mode for their mobile game, which is something that will be available to download in the future. But Omega did reveal there'll be some unusual modes, and you're going to have your regular campaign mode, and you'll be able to edit your own wrestler. No word on when this actual game will be released, but for now, those are little bits and pieces of what's happening with that AEW console game. If you want to see full details on Omega's statements, healbynature.com does have that on the front page. As always, thanks for listening here on YouTube. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscription button. Turn on notifications, get notified of these daily wrestling news podcasts. If you are listening on your favorite podcast app, whether that be something like a Stitcher or Spotify, make sure to hit follow or subscribe to get notified for daily episodes.